Hello and welcome to the Two Man Power Trip of Wrestling. I'm your host, JP John Paz. With me today, very special guest, former NWA World Tag Team Champion, former TNA King of the Mountain Champion. Of course, you may know him as Bram, but he is Mr. Thomas Latimer. Welcome back to the Two Man Power Trip. How you doing?
Thank you for having me, as always, John. I appreciate it.
Yes, good to catch up and good to see you again. Obviously, you got some big stuff ahead. You got NWA 74 at the Chase, the legendary Chase Ballroom in St. Louis, Missouri. What do you think about NWA 74-year anniversary show?
Well, I mean, if it's anything like the one the year before, I know it should be a pretty special and amazing time, and everyone's excited for it. So, including myself and Camille. No, I mean, like I said, last year we had Ric Flair there, and all sorts of things going on. So I'm sure there'll be lots of surprises that I'm not privy to talking about, but it should be a good time.
So it's actually, really big because you got night one and night two this year. So you're expanding it. So it's kind of, it's, you don't have Ric Flair or whatever, but I mean, it's still a huge show because expanding it into two nights.
Yeah, we did. It was kind of the same last time we were there, but it wasn't a 2-day pay-per-view. But we did a lot of TV tapings the next day, so it kind of still felt like the same thing. So no, I mean that just shows you that we're growing, and there's a lot of talented people that need to be showcased.
So you versus Judas, or I guess it's Judas. I don't know how to exactly. I would say Judas, but he's with Father James Mitchell. That'll be the big match on night two of the show.
Yeah, so maybe I got the night off on night one. So
Yeah,
yeah, no,
maybe.
he's a big boy. He's a big, strong boy. So I'm a fan of his manager, Mr. Mitchell. He's someone that kind of likes the same kind of music as me. So maybe he's my manager instead of the other way around. But no, I'm excited to wrestle him. I've never wrestled him before. I hope that he knows he's going to lose. But I mean, it's good. It's another test. He's another stepping stone.
What kind of music, by the way, is it?
It's all sort of heavy metal, screamy stuff.
Nice. Oh, I didn't realize Mitchell, but I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Well, at least I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's like the stuff that I listen to, but I'm kind of presuming it's kind of the same. Maybe toned down a little bit.
NWA, it seems like each and every year they're kind of growing, expanding. What do you think about like the current state of the NWA?
I think there's a lot of wrestling, isn't there? I mean, you can pretty much watch wrestling every day.
Yep.
On TV or on streaming services or whatever. So it is what it is. There's a lot going on. Although at the same time, I feel like we're a niche. We're a throwback to how it used to be, but in the modern era. So if that is your cup of tea, if that style of wrestling and storytelling and good versus evil is something that you're into, then the NWA is for you. There's really only one giant juggernaut, isn't there? And I don't think we're going to try and compete with that, as it would be good to. But we're doing our own thing, and that's really all that matters.
It seems like it's crazy how much wrestling is out there. You know what I mean? Every organization, WB, AEW, MLW, GCW, obviously NWA. I mean, there's wrestling everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't watch any of it. But I was watching, I don't know if it was this morning or yesterday, I was watching some old World of Sport, which was Rollerball Rocco versus Fit Finlay and Finlay versus Mal Sanders and things like that. So, if I'm not watching sort of 97 to 2002 wrestling, then I'm watching stuff, that was, way older than that and from the UK.
So that's like your jam, though, wrestling-wise. You like World of Sport. You like that kind of era.
It's still, I love it, and it's something that I try and teach. We've got a wrestling school here in Nashville. Jerry Lynn is one of the owners and operators of it, and for me, I really like teaching the sort of the British stuff and the things that even I don't do them. I just, as soon as I got to America, I realized it was punch and kick, and that kind of went out the window, and my characters and all that have never really been something that would be doing a lot of chain wrestling. So I kind of like, teaching all the guys there, that kind of stuff. And I learned a lot of stuff from Jeff Kay and Drew McDonald, some old World of Sport guys. But that was when I was, 17, 18, and I've forgotten a lot of it now. So even I have to go back and sort of watch old World of Sport stuff to be able to go, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then be able to go to the school and teach it, you know. Even I need a refresher course.
But you knew all that stuff before coming to the States. You were very versed in it.
Yes, I was, yeah.
Interesting. You wouldn't think of like it's obviously you're a bigger guy, like you said, punch kick kind of guy now that you're in the States, but you wouldn't think of you as like a World of Sport kind of guy, like Cole Cabana or something like that. Yeah, okay, I could see it, but I don't know. It's interesting. I never thought that you kind of knew that style or that you trained in that style.
Yeah, no, it's a secret. No, it's something that I like to do. Like me and Camille should be rolling around later on today at the school, and we'll just be doing a lot of that kind of stuff. You know, yeah, it's just enjoyable, and it's something that I've never really had a chance to sort of showcase or do a lot of here, which is fine. But you know, now that I'm helping teach, you know, other people, I definitely want them to at least pass on whatever knowledge that I got from the UK that, you know, they might not get here. So
You ever think about adding that to the style? Like while you're in the NWA, maybe changing it up and adding that to the style?
well, now I'm a good guy, babyface. You never know.
Yeah, true. It's just one of those things where that style, not that it's out of style per se, but a lot of guys don't use it. I mean, we haven't really seen that type of style in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be so much rounds and sort of things like that. I mean, that, you know, the World of Sport stuff had, you know, rounds and,
Yep.
you know, there'd be a sort of there'd be a lot of wrestling built to some sort of high spot that would be involved in wrestling. But I think a lot of the time it's just down to exactly that time. You know, if you've got a 20-minute match, then you can spend the first 5-10 minutes just wrestling and telling that kind of a story. But when most things like TV and, you know, you might get a bit of extra time on the pay-per-views, but normally you just got to go. And so it doesn't take long before you've spent a lot of time doing that, and then, you know, time's running out, you got to go home. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why it's something that I haven't really done a lot of, just because if you've got 6 minutes and you're trying to get a story or a point across, you know, stuff like that's kind of got to go out the back. So
Right. If it's a longer match, like let's say you got the main event, 25 minutes, maybe you could do that.
oh, definitely, yes. There's only so much punching and kicking you can do in 20 minutes.
You prefer babyface or heel? It seems like you're more proficient with heel, but you're okay with being a baby?
Yeah, no, it's another challenge. I was in the UK. I'd be a baby face a lot, but it's at least back then it was a different style, and it was a sort of a different. You're more of a cheerleader than a you know a wrestler. But you know, I had a lot of experience in being a baby face back then. But once I moved to America, it was predominantly all heel, which I've been fine with. But it's definitely a challenge. It's something that I've not had. You know, I've not really had to think about comebacks. I've not had to think about, you know, certain points to fire up like you do as a baby face. So it's a new challenge for me anyway. I mean, I feel like I've been able to be a very good heel. So now I'd like to be able to be a very good baby face.
Do you think that's because like you're a foreigner per se, like you're from the UK? Is that why they kind of pushed you as a heel for most of the time?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't really know. I think maybe when they see what kind of wrestling that I would do, they would just automatically think, oh, because he's aggressive or whatever, that he should be a heel. So you know, I can only guess that that's probably what it is, unless I just look really angry all the time or something.
Yeah, that could be it.
All right.
So, so no more strictly business. Strictly business with you and Chris Adonis is over.
Well, I've still got the jacket, right? I haven't put it on eBay, so you never know. You know, I've still got the jacket just in case there's ever, you know, a time to get the band back together.
How do you get one of those jackets, by the way? I know obviously Nick Aldis has got to give it to you, right?
That's it, yeah.
So he buys it and then you get christened with it?
He still got his too, but no, Chris never got one. So that's something.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He used to wear the his
Yeah,
own. Yeah.
yeah, we need to figure that out one day. You know, I don't think Chris is that bothered. So
What do you think just to stay the NWA right now as far as like where they're at? Obviously, Trevor Murdoch versus Tyrus is the main event. And with you kind of heading back towards, do you think like NWA titles in your future? Like, what do you think about like the state of that and you getting to that next level in your career?
I think that it's on the cards. I think it's just a matter of time. Like anything in this job, it's all timing, and a bit of luck. And I think it's helped me proving that I can be sensible and behaved and lead a normal life away from partying and alcohol and drugs and things like that. And I feel like at WWE, I was given the ball and I kicked it away. And then at Impact, I was given the ball again and I did the same thing. Because I don't know, I just didn't realize the opportunity I was given. And I wasn't in the right mindset for it either mentally. And so now at 36, and nearly 3 years sober, my life settled down. I feel like I've had to prove it to myself that I can be that person. And I feel like as far as Billy goes and everyone else, I feel like there's been a lot of that too. You know, if they're gonna give me the ball again, they need to know that my head's in the right space and that I want the ball and I want the ball now. So for me, it's just I feel like it's just a matter of time. You know, talking about Tyrus and the champ Trevor. You know, I'm looking forward to their match. You've got two big old boys going head to head, so they should be knocking each other's heads off. I hope they do anyway.
What's going on with Nick? I thought he was getting that shot, and Billy Corgan just pulled it right away.
Well, you know, he's a sneaky bugger, isn't he? But you know, Nick will bounce back. You know, I feel like he's pretty used to this kind of stuff, so I'm sure it's water, you know, off a duck's back for him.
I talked to Billy, I would say probably about a year ago or so, did an interview with him, and he was kind of saying it's a fine line if like he should be a character on TV or not, because obviously he's going to be the most famous person NWA has just because he's Smashing Pumpkins. He's Billy Corgan. Do you think like he should be a character, shouldn't be a character, or you got to use his fame and fortune to you know build a company, almost use his popularity to kind of gain some mainstream attention?
Oh, well, there's definitely a part of that, yeah. But I mean, ultimately, who are any of us to say? Billy is the guy that owns it and runs it. And so if that's the direction he wants to go, that's the direction you go. So, I mean, for me, I think anytime when you can be doing battle with your boss, it's gonna create organically some decent storylines because everyone can relate to that. You know, whether Billy is a good guy or a bad guy is you know, if he did become a full-time on screen role, is yet to be seen. But I mean, just thinking about it, it just makes sense for storylines. And like I said, everyone's had a boss that they hate, and every boss has had someone who works underneath him that he despises. So it kind of just makes sense, doesn't it?
Right. It's an interesting kind of dynamic because he's not, you know, he's not a wrestler per se, but he's so famous that he would help out just by being on the show more, you know? He just gets his name value.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, that's the reason why WWE brings in, you know, guys that are off reality TV or movie stars or whatever. It's the same thing. If you know, if there's something there that you can use to help draw new eyes onto it, then why wouldn't you?
Right. What do you think about him as a boss? Like, how is he personally?
Me and him have always gotten on since the day we met. I mean, he had a lot to do with me. You know, sort of like 3/4 of the way through my TNA run, we became really close, and you know, as friends. And you know, I'd spend a lot of time sort of moaning to him and telling him my gripes and telling him whatever, you know, silly situation I got myself in, or you know, that I was hungover that day, or whatever the case may be. He became sort of like someone that I confided a lot in, which, when you think about it down the line, probably doesn't bode too well for that person and turn out to be your boss if you've been sort of honest about your silly. Yeah. But luckily, he knows me, and I think that, you know, he wouldn't take a chance on me if he didn't know that, you know, deep down inside, you know, I'm not. What's the word I'm looking for? He knew that I just needed to get my act together, you know. But like I said, no, we've always been great, and for me, I'm blessed. I mean, Billy, me and Camille, you know, he takes great care of us. We live a great life. I get to once again make a full-time living from wrestling between Billy and the wrestling school that I help run. You know, I mean, it could go at any point. I mean, that's just that's just wrestling for you, isn't it? But right now in my life, I'm very blessed. I get to, make all my money and put everything into pro wrestling again. So, and Billy makes that, something that me and Camille, I was going to say Kaylee then, it's something that me and Camille, it'd be a really different sort of scenario if we weren't, being looked after the way that we are. So for me, I've got nothing but good things to say to him. And that's not just because I'm a baby face now. It's just, I'm being honest.
Do you think, like, with you and where you're at, is like, are you better? Like you said, you're 3 years sober. Is this like the best you've been in a while? Is this like the high point for you right now? Is like everything's going good? You're staying sober. Is this like smooth sailing ahead kind of thing?
I feel so. Yeah. You never know. And that's the thing. You've always got to be self-aware and have eyes in the back of your head. As far as mentally, I'm the strongest and best I've ever been in regards to my life, how I view myself, my relationship, stability, which I've always sort of ran away from. Like, anything that might, like I was joking with Kaylee when we bought the TVs for our new house. I was like, oh, buying some TVs now, it's serious because, it's normal. I would just live I spent the last sort of, I don't know, 6 years just living in random people's homes, living out of a suitcase, just sort of being a vagabond. So, even just that's a big thing, or at least it was a big thing then. It's like getting things that means you're going to be settled. And these are things that I really want now. And sort of, I want to be settled and I want to be surrounded by people that I care for and they care for me and things like that. But like I said, I've never had to have a big challenge yet where, which would have any major issue like a family death or anything like that. So that would be that, I feel like as far as the alcohol would go, that would be the test then. If I can, never touch a drop of alcohol when something really, really bad happens, great, and I feel like that's how I would be. But again, until it happens, you just don't know. And so I feel like I have to be very careful and always wary. And like I said, never lose sight on all the good things that come when you are sensible and you don't drink. And it's amazing how simple and great your life can be. And as far as the wrestling, I feel like I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. And like I said, mentally, the same thing. My body is obviously, I'm 36 and I've been wrestling since I was 16. So it's getting a little bit creaky now. It doesn't really like it very much, but I guess that just comes with the territory. So no, I mean, I'm really good. And like I said, really blessed. So I just don't want to press that big red button anymore. I'm good where I am.
How do you stay in shape? Like obviously you're a pretty big dude too. So like, how do you stay in shape after 20 years of wrestling?
So I do a lot of fasting. So I try to not eat as long as I can. And that's
Really?
yeah. I mean, I still obviously need to eat under the calories that I, need to be able to burn body fat or do whatever. But I found that sort of having control over that, at least when I eat and how much I eat, has really helped. If I was to have like the food that I would normally eat in the last 6 to 8 hours of the day, if I had that spread, say if I got up at 6 a.m. and I didn't go to bed till 11 o'clock at night, that's a long time to go and that's a lot of feeding. Whereas if you just kind of put it off, then you can eat a few more bigger meals by the end of the day, and sort of at least I'm full when I go to bed. And after a while, you kind of get used to it. I mean, it always kind of sucks, but the fasting's really helped. And then I go to the gym every day, even if I don't need to go, I go because it's just therapy for me. It's like I went today and I was really beaten up from rolling around a lot of the school and just sort of just I felt a bit run down. So today I went in, but I just did cardio. But I'm still thinking about going back later. So, but no, just gym every day, fasting, trying to not binge eat, and that's about it really. And then wrestling at the school too. I mean, if I'm in there, so it's called Fxe Wrestling Academy. The website's Fxe Wrestling Network.com, I think. And I'm there 3 nights a week, and each class is 3 hours, but I'm normally there an hour, 2 hours before, and in that time I'll roll around with some of the guys, and that's good for me too. I'll roll around with Kaylee. And so, there's more calories and things that are getting burnt. I mean, sometimes I'll have worked out and I'll have, cooked my food. I'll be at the school, I'll be rolling around, and I've still not eaten yet. So I don't know. All that kind of stuff has just sort of helped keep me lean. I've never been able to sort of like stay progressively lean. And so I've kind of just figured it out now after, years of doing it.
Man, 7 days a week you work out?
Yeah.
Really? Damn. There's no
You don't
like
have,
off day kind of thing?
yeah, you don't have to. I mean, I'd like today. It's like I went and I went, I'm not really feeling it. So I just did my cardio and left. But yeah, I mean, it sort of breaks up the day, and it's something that it just helps me feel better. So like I said, it's therapy. I don't have to go every day, but I just do. I'd be really lost if I couldn't go to the gym.
Man, so 7 days a week working out. I mean, that's pretty dedicated,
I'm not
obviously.
saying I'm not working out hard, but I am working.
Right, you're there. Yeah, yeah. Getting there though is the hard part, I feel like.
Right. Well, that's actually the best bit. Well, the best bit is actually when you drive away. But yeah.
Yeah, true. So for like NWA, what's like kind of next after NWA 74? Like, what do you got on like the docket as far as like where you want to be and where you want to go in the NWA?
I mean, I'm just be kind of repeating myself. I feel like at some point, I don't know who will beat who at NWA 74 between Trevor and Tyrus. I mean, it doesn't matter. Whoever wins, they're still a big boy and, daunting task. And I wrestled Trevor a few times and Tyrus, at least in the past, before the NWA. So, I at least have been in there and know what it takes and or what I'm coming up against. But I mean, whoever walks away from that, whoever the champion is, when the time is right, I can only presume that I will eventually be stepping into that sort of territory and throwing down with those boys. So for me, it's just a question of staying healthy, happy, and busting my ass in everything that I do. And then hopefully I do good enough to be given an opportunity to get the ball, and I'm going to run with it.
I don't know if you saw or heard, but Billy kind of made waves when he was talking about the Empower pay-per-view. Obviously, Camille was a big part of that. He was saying that there wasn't enough like talent or something. There wasn't enough free agent talent to do another pay-per-view. I don't know if you caught that or if you did, what did you kind of think of what Billy was saying about there won't be another Empower pay-per-view this year?
I don't delve into whatever. Ultimately, I'm a pro wrestler, and that's what I'm paid to do. I'm there to wrestle. So, sort of whatever goes on or whatever's said, it's none of my business. But I mean, as far as the women's wrestling, I mean, if you look at both nights, it's pretty stacked full of women's wrestling.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's not happening. It's just, I guess it's just they're not going to have their own pay-per-view this time. But who's to say that's not going to change? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really have a comment on it other than there's a lot of girls that are getting opportunities at the NWA, and ultimately whatever Billy thinks and whatever he wants to do and that's it.
Yeah, I saw people like complaining, oh, there should be, there shouldn't be, or whatever they were saying about it. But I looked over the 2 nights. I think there's 5 women's matches over the 2 nights, or maybe 6. I mean, there was a lot of women on the card.
Yeah, there's like a gauntlet type thing too, like
Yeah,
for
for the
the
Burke. Yeah.
yeah. So I feel like I don't know. Like that was my point too. Like there is a lot of women's wrestling on it. So, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like also it's kind of easy to read into or look into the way something is written or said, but not know the context to it. So
Right.
if people are getting upset about it, maybe it's been read wrong, or maybe they're looking too far into it, or it is what it is.
Man, where would these fans be if we were talking about 9702, like watching some of that stuff? Where would these fans be? There's no women really on the cards then.
You
They'd
know,
be complaining their asses off
yeah,
about it.
yeah. I mean, times changes. That's a good thing. But yeah, I don't know. I just try and stay away from the internet as possible, just because it can be pretty toxic.
A lot of controversy. Even when it's not controversy, they'll try to create a controversy. You know what I mean?
That clickbait, yeah.
Yep. Yep. Now, 97 to 02, who's your guy? Like who's your are you a Steve Austin guy? Who are you a big fan of?
Uh, I was actually a big Jeff Hardy fan. He was he's actually the reason why I wanted to be a pro wrestler. Like I was obviously a big Shawn Michaels fan and stuff like that. But I think once I'd sort of seen Jeff Hardy, I'm like, oh wow, these guys are super cool. You know, I started growing my hair out instantly and wanted to be like them. Obviously, I'm nothing like them, but
Yeah.
they were definitely sort of inspiration. Both the Hardys, and I've had the pleasure of wrestling them, you know, a bunch of times at Impact and on indie shows and stuff like that. So I'm fortunate. Like I have to I have to like remind myself, you know, what would the 12-year-old Thomas think, and you know, he'd be elated about at least like 80% of the things that I've done. You know, so like sometimes when I put on the 12-year-old boy's shoes, like it's pretty cool. But yeah, like, you know, Jeff Hardy was a big inspiration for me. And then it was kind of like down the line when I got more involved in the job. I started training when I was 16. Then I would sort of be watching Dynamite Kid and, you know, other guys like that. You know, and now it can really be anything that, you know, I'll try and take little bits from everything, especially helping run the school. You know, I need a lot of tricks up my sleeve, and you know, I need to have a lot of knowledge. And so I've got all the stuff down really well that I know. But there's stuff that I've never done, or stuff that, you know, that I need to be competent in teaching that maybe I've never done, or it won't be something that I would do, but I still need to show people how to do it. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, I was a big Jeff Hardy fan growing up.
As we hit the wind down here, we'll head towards the finished big NWA 74. We're talking about a 74th anniversary show. Two shows, August 27th and 28th. Chase Ballroom, St. Louis, Missouri. Just give us one last big push of why everybody should be watching the NWA.
Again, if you're an old school wrestling fan, if you like good versus evil, if you like boys that look like they work out and go to the gym and smash each other up, and a bit of that nostalgia, then the NWA is for you. And you got 2 nights of great action. So, you know, if you're in the area, get out there. And if you're not, get it on Fight, and just, you know, support us.
You think that's a big thing with the NWA, like getting guys that actually look like wrestlers and, you know, rather than because you see a lot of smaller guys now on the wrestling scene, you know, flippity guys, whatever you want to say. I mean, they don't look like wrestlers per se. Is that a big kind of selling point of the NWA? Hey, you know, a lot of these guys actually, you know, look the part.
I feel that wrestling has always been a circus. Even if you go way back, there's always smaller guys or guys that do the acrobatics and super tall. There's something for everyone, right? And that's really what it should be. There's something for everyone. You got your circus. When they come to town, you get the elephants, the clowns, this, that. Same thing with the wrestling. So, but I know what you're saying in regards to the physiques have changed. And that's just, I guess, a sign of the times. But as far as like, is it important? No, not really. I mean, I appreciate it, and as soon as I decided I wanted to be a wrestler, it's the first thing that I did was start going to the gym. I mean, that was the one thing that I knew I could control, and one thing less that I needed to worry about if I was trying to get hired somewhere. You know, as long as I look the part and I can wrestle, and I can talk, well, I'm good. Well, at least when I look the part, that's half the battle. But yeah, times have changed, and I guess you can get away with it a lot more now. But for me anyway, me talking about personally how I feel about myself, I don't think I'd feel as confident if I wasn't, if I didn't look the part. The help for me, it's like when you put your wrestling boots on or whatever, or, you know, Batman puts on his cape or whatever, he turns into that character. It's kind of the same thing. Like I don't think, I think if I didn't hit the gym and didn't look a certain way, I don't know if I would feel as confident as I do generally in the ring, you know, and it helps me become, you know, that person. And, you know, when a big guy with muscles is beating someone up, I think that it personally looks better than someone that doesn't look like they work out, beat someone up. And I'm not saying there isn't tough people that aren't muscly. I'm just saying for me, it just, I'm trying to have people forget that it's, you know, what's the correct verbiage for it? Scripted.
Predetermined.
But yeah, predetermined. You know, and I feel like that's one way that at least I can sort of make it look a little bit nastier. I want people to not want to wrestle me. I want people to, you know, when they watch me wrestle, like, oh, I'm not too sure about him. You know, I want them to forget that it's predetermined.
I like that. I like that philosophy. That's good. Because, like I said, a lot of guys today, I don't know, the flippity floppity flyers and guys that don't look like they're wrestling, and you see all these botches of these guys doing these moves, and it's just like, like what the hell? He's not in shape. What the hell is he doing? I just saw a guy trying to be like Rey Mysterio. He fell on his head. It's like phew,
I
crazy.
think someone sent me that actually. Yeah. I
Or
mean,
was he trying to do RVD mixed in with his? I don't know what the hell he was
you
trying
got
to do. Yeah,
to trying, but I guess that's what practice is for. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I was like I said, I was the biggest Jeff Hardy fan when I was a kid. Now Jeff is like a big dude, right? He's a lot bigger than you think he would be.
yeah,
But
yeah,
he was flying around, and I was a big fan of that. So it's not like I'm not a fan of that. I totally am. And if you look at Jeff, besides him being as a big person in general, it's not like he was, super muscly or look like the Ultimate Warrior.
yeah.
So I still like all that stuff. It was for me. It was a personal preference. I went, okay, well, I see how most of these guys are. I need and should look like that. And even when I started trying out for WWE, which was in 2005, even then, even leading to when I got hired in 2010, and even now, really, it's still the land of the giants. When I remember getting off the plane and walking into developmental and just being like, oh me and my pal from Rampage Brown from the UK, we both walked in there and went, oh my goodness, like we're tiny in here. And so if you think about it, like that's still a big thing that obviously WWE really, really wants is big people or whatever. But yeah, but like I said, back to the point, I'm all for the flying and everything like that. If I could do it, I would, but I can't. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, WWE, I mean, Roman, Cross, Drew, Lashley, Brock. I mean, those are some pretty big guys over there. Yeah,
There's
definitely Land of the Giants. Yeah.
some weight in those rings. Yeah. Yeah. Especially,
Oh,
yeah.
but give us a plug for your school as well.
Uh,
Mention that again.
I believe, because I'm using my phone right now and I can't mess about with
Yeah.
it. It's Fxe Wrestling Network.com, I think. FXE on Facebook. Or if you just type in FXE Wrestling into Google, it'll pop up. But yeah, Jerry Lynn's one of the owners and runs it. Myself, a couple of other guys too. But I mean, the facility is amazing. It's something that, I'm kind of jealous that the guys now that are training get to have this, because I learned on mats, the really thin, crappy mats on a concrete floor. I didn't get the luxury of being able to roll around in a ring like these guys get. And there's 2 rings in there. Like I said, the building's phenomenal. It's slowly building and getting momentum, and they've got a lot of big things planned for in the future, from shows, live events, all those kind of things. So, but if you are in the Hendersonville, Nashville area, sort of, definitely check that out, especially if you want to train to be a pro wrestler. So, like you say, you've got Jerry Lynn there, who's got a great mind for the business. He's an agent at AEW at the moment too. But I mean, he's just a great guy to be around, and with the knowledge that he has and the experience, for me, even I'm sitting under the learning tree with Jerry. So
Man, you got the NWA, you got your school, you're keeping busy
a
for
lot
sure.
of wrestling. Yeah, my back's not very happy, but
You got to get a chiropractor or something. Yeah.
I get one of those massage chairs.
Yes, yes. But before we let you, give everybody the plugs where they can find you and follow you, social medias and otherwise.
I think Twitter is Thomas_Latimer_. My Instagram is the same. I've got blue ticks, so it's me. And I think that's about it. I mean, if you're into your sort of bodybuilding supplements and your protein powders and things like that, there's a company that I use that sort of sponsor me, and they're Rival Nutrition. And if you want any of their stuff, any of their products, the code for 20% off is Latimer20. And then the same with Chicken Pound too, which is a great company that delivers frozen chicken cooked to your door, and I absolutely love it because I'm the laziest. If I can't microwave it, I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
great too. If you want fresh chicken, different flavors shipped to your door, and same thing, code Latimer. I think that's about it.
And of course, just one last time, I want to mention NWA 74, the 74th anniversary, 2-night shows. You versus Judas will be on night 2, but August 27th and 28th, Chase Ballroom, St. Louis, Missouri. It's going to be a big time show, obviously available on pay per view. And you could just Google it or put it on Twitter, NWA 74. You'll find out all the information, but it'll be available on Fight TV and pay per view. So great stuff.
That was a great plug there, John. Way better than mine. I was going to say, go to nwatix.com to get your tickets.
There you go. Yeah, there's still some tickets available. Go to NWA Tix. There you go. So, Thomas, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate it.
Thanks, John. I'll see you in a year.
Yes.
Thanks, mate.